Hi, this is Julianne, and welcome to another video in our fall series. And we are going to be continuing the themes of the fall. So last time we talked a bit about balance, striking the balance between, everything has to have its offset, so you can have the good with the bad, but you need both in order to have any kind of balance. So this time we're talking about letting it go, which is another big theme of the fall, which is kind of the endings, right? Brings about the end of the year and the end of a lot of different cycles, the end of the growing cycle, the leaves are falling. So let's talk a little bit about what that might mean for you. Again, doing this right inside Notion, which I think is really fun. So, so the theme of letting go, again, we're still working on that balance, but it's looking at what you've accomplished and what you've harvested. So you think about going out to the fields, now they've pulled everything back, the harvest is done, and it's looking at kind of what worked, but also looking forward, like what are you going to continue and what are you going to discontinue? What are you going to prepare for the next season? So this is a time where a lot of people might plant bulbs. You plant the bulbs in the fall of tulips, things like that, so that they'll come out in the spring. So what do you want to prepare? What do you want to get ready to reharvest, to recycle through your life? And what do you just want to get rid of? And also the harvest is talking about, decision making as to what are you going to store, what are you going to can and preserve, what are you going to eat now, what do you want to let decay, and what do you want to sow for spring. So these are all big themes that go through the fall. Also, what can you do without during the winter? These obviously a lot of this is a little bit older. We don't have to go without during the winter. You do have to go out without some of your favorite fresh fruits, but for the most part, we have access to the things that we've had access to all year long. But it is a time of things changing, right? You can't put on the short sleeve shirts anymore and feel comfortable, at least here in the northern hemisphere. Winter's coming, the cold temperatures are coming, the daylight is getting shorter and shorter. So things are changing, and it's what do you want to let go of? What habits were great during the summer that don't apply anymore? What routines did you have that just were really, sorry, you can hear my dog in the background. What routines no longer apply? And I think I've definitely been struggling with this. I don't know about you, but even though I'm aware of it, even though I know that this is part of the cycle, I'm still struggling to find that new rhythm, to find what works for me in this new season, even though how many falls have we done, right? It's every time it's kind of a surprise as to what's going to work this time. What do I want to let go of? What can I carry forward? So what worked in the summer that I can still carry forward? Maybe there's some healthy eating routines that you can just modify and carry them forward, but maybe there's some other things you just need to really let go of and say that time has ended. My workout routine, that's where I'm really, really struggling, is I want to continue to work out, but I don't have the same natural energy because I don't have that sunlight fueling me. So it's harder to go upstairs, go to the workout room where it's a little bit colder and it's not sunshiny and bright, and put on the workout clothes. And, that's a real struggle. So I have to realize that that's a struggle. And what do I want to let go about my workout routine, and what do I want to carry forward? So what I've kind of come up with is, okay, I'm going to tailor it back. I'm still going to do it, but not with the same amount of days and not with the same length. And I have to move the timing up so it's brighter in that room, and it's not as cold in that room earlier in the day than it is later in the day. So just some of the things to think about. And I really liked this poem, and I wanted to put it in here from Walt Whitman. And I'll read it because it is a little bit lengthy. Write it on your heart that every day is the best day of the year. He is rich who owns the day, and no one owns the day who allows it to be invaded with fret and anxiety. Finish every day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. Begin it well and serenely, with too high a spirit to be cumbered with your old nonsense. The new day is too dear, with its hopes and invitations, to waste a moment on the yesterdays. And I think that goes back to the theme we talked about in the last episode, was grace. You made mistakes today. That's okay. Don't bring them into tomorrow. Give yourself grace to feel like you're trying to find that new rhythm. You're trying to find what you're going to let go of. You're going to try to find what goes forward. And you're going to make mistakes and you're going to fumble along, and that's okay. Give yourself grace and realize that you need to let yesterday go as you move into tomorrow. You need to let old habits go. You need to let things that worked in the past that don't work today, just let it go. Find a new way of being in this fall season. Find a new rhythm that works for you, and be very forgiving, be very kind of give yourself that grace, that forgiveness to just keep going forward and trying new things. Be experimental. We talked about the mad scientist. Like, just play around, look at your life and really have fun with it. Don't be so, type A and get it perfect. You're not going to get it perfect, and just let it go. So I think that's, just a beautiful theme that, cue that Frozen song, let it go. Just really relax into it and have fun with this. Don't make it so serious. So your takeaways from this short episode are kind of, what do you want to bring forward into the new year? And what do you want to leave behind? So this is a little bit big picture, but as the year is ending, start to make notes that you're going to use for your annual review. So create an annual review card in your Notion database and start to put in notes of what worked really well this year. Like, don't just look at the summer, but scale way back to the whole year and look at what really worked this year. What do I want to let go of in the big picture, and what do I want to let go of in the seasonal rhythm picture? So there's two different scales here, but I want you to just keep that theme. Since it's such a big theme, the year is ending. Now is the perfect time to look at the whole year and say what worked, what didn't work. Maybe even go back to your goal setting from 2022 in January and say, what did I set for goals, and what worked and what didn't work. This is, again, a time for giving yourself grace. And then kind of keep those notes so when you're doing your annual review and your planning module at the end of the year, you'll have these things already kind of thought through and written down, because this is the perfect time. You're not trying to do it all at once. I don't like the end of the year reviews, which are just so like, try to remember everything you did this year today. Give yourself time for these things to bubble up. You've got the whole quarter to really start to look at things for the whole year. How did they work? How did each season work for you? What kind of rhythms were present in the spring that you want to bring back for next spring? How did you prepare for winter maybe last time? Go back and look at 21. What did you do this time last year? Because there's some good tips that you can bring into this year, or that you want to preserve and bring into 23. You want to be learning all the time, learning what works for you, learning what doesn't work for you. So as part of letting it go is to be that experimental, say, hey, these are the things I tried that didn't work, so I don't want to repeat them next year, right? So make notes of what worked, and then give yourself suggestions, hints, clues at things that might work for you going forward. And again, if some of this is unfamiliar to you, look at the fall playlist in the quarter four videos. We talk about the themes of balance and being the mad scientist, and I do a whole quarter four review, so take out time to watch that. And if you want to know that you're going to have the annual review, I do offer that to my Be More students, so if you look at the links down below, you can find out more about that. But this will give you a chance to know that you're going to have the annual review, and in that annual review, we will go back and look at these things that you decided to let go of, to look at the rhythms that worked and the things that didn't work, and that will be part of the big picture review that we're going to do for 23 coming ahead. So just some things to look forward to. But your big takeaway from this is, what do you want to let go of? What came from your harvest? What are you going to preserve? What are you going to keep? What are you going to discard? What are you going to sow for the spring? I mean, these are big questions. So take your time, rewatch this if you want to go through those themes again, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.